time for Lykken on Lending.
Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us.
Welcome to Lykken on Lending, a weekly mortgage market update providing up-to-the-minute information on interest rates, loan programs, and hot industry news, all related to the mortgage industry. Brought to you by Transformational Mortgage Solutions. To participate in today's program, our guest call-in line is 646-716-4972. Now here's your host of Lykken on Lending, David Lykken.
Let's begin.
Listeners, I'm excited to have Andria Lightfoot with us from SimpleNexus. She is the Customer Officer, Chief Customer Officer. Sorry, left off the Chief. Can't leave off the Chief. We got the Chief here. And I'm so excited to have her. Again, this is an nCino company. You hear me talk about this always in the podcast about these two companies, or actually they're now one company since nCino acquired SimpleNexus. And the vision and what they're doing is really exciting. They're growing and doing so well. So let's welcome to the microphone, Andria Lightfoot. So good to have you here. Love it.
Thanks so much. Happy to be here. Happy to be joining Go Chiefs. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, that's controversial.
It probably is a little bit. But anyway, Go Chiefs. Yeah, for a number of reasons. Yeah, but you're a Chief. And so, again, for those that can't imagine they didn't know you, but forgive us, again, a little background. We've had you on before. A delight. I just find your personality delightful. You get anyone who is a sanguine, outgoing, bubbly type personality who is hits in the fun category, and you are all of that. It's just so much fun to talk to you. But for those listeners that do not know who you are, give them a little bit of your background and what brought you to where you're at today.
Yeah, in a nutshell, here's the deal. I love mortgage technology. That's not often what you think of when you're in kindergarten. They ask you what you want to be when you grow up. I guess when everyone else was, talking about being a NASA astronaut, I thought, what I really want to do? I want to wrangle loan officers for a living through technology. But I've been doing it for over 20 years now, David, and I do just genuinely love this industry. I have a passion for technology, and the boring byline is normally, transformational change management. What does that mean? I love the psychology and the success criteria of getting individuals all on the same page and moving them forward in a direction that really just gets me jazzed. And I think especially in this industry, we can all really benefit from stopping, listening, and learning from one another.
Yeah, it is so important. And I think the thing you said there is listening to one another. And that's sometimes the biggest challenge, is to listen and listen well. But you have done that there, and SimpleNexus has listened to their customers, and you have developed some pretty exciting products. So, Andrea, you spent time both on the lender and the technology side of the business as a provider over the span of your career. How do you apply both of these perspectives to the work you're currently doing at SimpleNexus?
Well, I'd say the number one thing you want to look for in developing a customer feedback program is, first, you need to look at your own team and determine, do you have what I'll call bilingual language speakers, right? Do they talk engineered? Can they talk to the programmers? Can they talk tech? Can they also talk and understand sales and mortgage, right? This is a very domain-specific industry that we're in. We need folks who understand regulatory compliance. And when you get the marriage of those two, you're actually going to find a sweet spot where we as SimpleNexus have been going out and acquiring top talent in mortgage technology expertise.
Top companies and top talent. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're out there talking to a lender base, a borrower, anyone of that nature, you want to stop and say, do I have the right talent internally who can translate and understand exactly what the ask is? Because when people bring you their pain points, what they're really saying is, help me solve this problem. And that's really, I think, the most exciting part of having been on the other side of the aisle, what I'll always talk about as, coming to the dark side of fintech, right? I was the lender and I came to the dark side. But what I love about it is I can empathize, and I have a team of folks who also have been practitioners in the space. So they understand those pain points with deep empathy. Makes a difference when we're talking to our customers and clients.
It is such an important part to have that empathy, to be able to understand what they're doing. And identify some of the issues that you're seeing right now that some of your customers are having. I mean, we all know volumes are off, and everyone's working on the income side of the business, the production side of the business, quite frankly, and they're struggling with that. But what are some of the issues that you're hearing about that SimpleNexus is really doing a great job of meeting those, solving those issues?
Yeah, well, I'll just start with a couple of stats. Okay, so try to stay awake here, fellas and gals. But Freddie Mac Housing Sentiment Survey just came out a couple months ago. We've seen a drop of 30% in borrowers out there on the street who don't have confidence in our housing market. And I stop and I go, well, wait a second. We have great property values holding fast. We have great technology, the experiences. So when I hear a customer saying, Andria, how can you help me improve my borrower experience and drive sales? I go, we got the thing for you. The point of sale system is really the reason we called it Nexus is it's at the epicenter of borrower convenience, things like single platform, single sign-on. I've got a laundry list of tech terms there, but all that really means is it easy? Is it intuitive? And the second piece is, can I bring the referrals in with my partner collaboration? And that needs to be very configurable and highly specialized for whatever partner you're working with. We don't specify who has to be a partner. It could be an attorney, a wealth management advisor, a realtor. It could be a buddy down the street at church. It doesn't matter. We have a platform that is at the nexus of bringing borrowers into a delightful experience and including those partnerships all the way through e-close, e-note, all the way through that final step. And so when we talk about building solutions that address those pain points, to me, it's the cross section of I can only bring in better sales when I treat that borrower and that customer better.
Yeah, which is really the user-centric approach that you're talking about there. Give us some ideas, some insights and lessons that you've learned as you've gone through that experience. Any stories that you could share with us?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites is actually about a loan officer who used to have to bring his laptop to his children's soccer game.
Yeah,
that one was super painful, right? You have to get into your VPN and then get onto the system and blah blah blah. Actually, what ended up happening is he actually called our co-founder Ben Miller. His wife was so tickled that he finally could be present in his children's lives because he had an on-the-go loan officer facing mobile app. So we focus for our clients on not just that borrower experience, but internal customer journey. And a quick shameless plug here for anyone who wants to know or nerd out, feel free to reach out on anything relating to customer intelligence. I have to set the stage here. Yeah. When you and I are talking customer experience, let me give everybody a quick definition there because that's, so I eat, sleep, and breathe this, right? Mm-hmm. Customer experience is focusing on how your customers feel after they interact with you. And I think most of us do a pretty good job. Most lenders I know, they've got surveys, they're reaching out, they're ensuring that their reputation and brand is being acknowledged. But customer journey is a whole different piece.
Whole other thing. Yeah.
That is really understanding how are your sales coming in? How is the borrower at point of thought coming in and working through your process? And do you have a tool to configure that? SimpleNexus. And the intersection, if you think of an old school Venn diagram, David, you got left side is the experience. How do I feel about interacting with you? Right side is journey. How do I get there? How do you work the deal, work it through? That middle overlap piece is really intelligence, because that is the fundamentals of, do I know what you need and can I meet that need?
Well, it's really good. That's really important. You're hitting on a whole bunch of really important points there. And I love the story about the loan officer not taking his laptop to the basketball game or the track meet or whatever the game is, that they be involved with the kids and be able to do it on a mobile device and do it effectively and securely. So it meets all the requirements of the lender. And most of those will come from the financial institutions more so than others. But it's really creating ability to live a life while doing business. This is a 24/7 business. So when you're working with someone on their home, it's the most important transaction. And we have a terrible, abysmal, at least we've had, for those that don't use SimpleNexus, a result on a repeat business. And it's because the consumer by and large hasn't. So I'm really encouraged by what you're doing and the experience. Do you have any statistics on, for those that use your platform and those that are still in the old way? Any thoughts on that, Andria?
One of the
how
things
much of a chasm is forming there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, I would say first and foremost is we talk a lot about with our mobile app specifically. That's a differentiator for us. It's something certainly for those on this podcast to think about. If you think that web sensitive is enough, HTML5 is fine, then you're missing a major trend that we're seeing amongst both millennials and Gen Z buyers, which is predominant web activities. Think of sales, internet search activities, your old SEO funnel. It's
Right.
actually happening in apps, which means that if you're not either on social media or you don't have a mobile app strategy, you're not even getting in front of the right eyeballs to bring in the right
Yeah,
information.
great point.
And so for us, we're super jazzed that the mobile app has taken off. I think it was part of, Matt Hansen's vision over 10 years ago to say, I want to get the lender out of someone's inbox, their email with all the spam and all the noise in there. And I'm going to put them in the back pocket. I'm going to put them in the mobile app alerts. I pull up my phone in the morning. It's the first thing I look at are my alerts that are on my phone. That's the first chance to get in front of that human experience. So yeah, definitely in terms of virality of that mobile app, the sharing impact for every time it's shared out again 2 to 3 more times. And then the ability to get connection to those eyeballs in the mobile app results in a faster turn time of doc receipt. If you do doc receipt, think about, I need a pay stub, I need a bank statement, right? Anything that is time sensitive for underwriting or processing, when it's done through the mobile app, less than 30 minutes. Disclosure signing, less than 30 minutes. From the point of ask to getting it processed and back into your system. Email, over a day. Like even that would be pretty great. People are picking up phones, they're calling. No knock on that, but just think about the power of the tech stack itself as eliminating friction, because we're giving people the same behavior they want anyways, which is to go scroll TikTok and, get lost on social media. Go play their Candy Crush all day long. Right?
The mobile app is a mixed blessing because it is a blessing, but I also find myself getting distracted on it. But I'm going through a refinance of my construction loan. I just did a massive remodel of my home, and we just had a temporary 1-year construction loan. So we're refinancing, going through a company, happens to be a credit union that doesn't have SimpleNexus, and it is painful what I'm going through. And so the first recommendation I had to them was say, love working with you guys, great group of people. All they're scoring high on the people side, but the technology side, it is just painful. And I think listeners, that if you're not using a technology like SimpleNexus, it's there in your hand. Your loan officers are out there. It's the only thing they really need to be able to interfacing with everything and what's going on. You're just missing out. And we could go on and on about it. I want to touch on one thing that you touched on just briefly, and it's called customer intelligence. Give your definition of that, Andria, and how you guys are, what you're doing with customer intelligence.
So customer intelligence for me is really just taking a layer off of, I don't want to trigger anybody with any privacy terms here. So think of a very anonymized data set that allows you to compartmentalize and group buying behaviors from your customer base. We are very fortunate that we have over 10 years worth of data, and data storage for anonymized data it is incredibly lucrative. There's actually businesses out there that all they do is sell and resell information. If you are not leveraging deeper insights into the patterns and buying behaviors of your customer base, then how do you really know you've designed the right customer journey for their preferences? And so again, back to the Venn diagram, that middle intelligence piece, you just need 3 simple pillars, David, to get started on that front. And it's literally 1, 2, 3, get out a pen. First, do you have a corporate database, some sort of unified data storage? The data's got to go someplace, right? We want to collect large amounts of data, and there's tools for data processing, but first and foremost, you got a canister to put it in. Second, point of sale. Here we are. There's lots of point of sale providers, but ultimately, if you are only still using an LOS for your upfront engine, you're missing a huge opportunity to understand point of thought and lead gen patterns. How many clicks? Where did they drop off? Why did they drop off? What is the conversion rates in there? And last, this is an easy one. We have some great partners at SimpleNexus in this space, a solid CRM. It always pains me when a lender, even a small broker, goes, I can't afford a CRM. No. If you're going to get any insight out of customer intelligence, you have to have baseline customer relationship, lead sales, demand gen, whatever you want to call it, a sales system that works in conjunction with your point of sale. Those are your 3 pillars right there. Once you have that, come back and talk to me. There's all kind of ways that you can consult and start.
That's so good. Yeah, what's so good about that? What you hit on that last point, especially, I just recorded an interview with Joe Well, the founder of Total Expert. I know you guys are great partners together, and they speak as well of you as you well of them. And it's really fun to see this. And there's this re-emerging, or this not re-emerging, but it's an emerging term, but it's really coming up, and it's customer intelligence and customer insights and all these things. You just can't have enough of the tools. And I think there's going to be a huge separation of those that have and those that have not in the mortgage planning process. And I think if you, whoever's listening to this, are not using these two very powerful tools, and some others are right around it. You're going to be really be challenged. But you guys have a big, exciting event coming up. It's the SimpleNexus user group, also known as Snug, and it's going to be next week in Snowbird. So very exciting.
Getting snuggy, David. That's what we like to say. Come out. It's cold. We have a great swag offering for those that are coming. I think everybody knows about our cool, funky T-shirts. We like to keep it fun. So Snug for us is just such a unique user conference, because I really think of it as more than a conference. It's more of this intimate setting where the attendees really have an opportunity to go one-on-one conversations, leaders to leaders, right? I think a lot of times it might be perceived as, oh, it's for my admin, or no, we have production managers, sales managers, CMO, marketing leaders. It's a really great who's roster of those that are on cutting edge, emerging technology trends, and it's there to both receive and learn. And earlier I said, it's there to listen. We're there to hear from our customer base, and we want them to have that chance to commingle as well.
Yeah. Give us a little insights of what some of the attendees can expect when they're there.
Sure. So March 13th through 16th, we're going to be up at Snowbird Mountain Resort. If for any of you powderheads who love the slopes, it's not required, but I'll tell you, they did get 24 inches of fresh powder just last week. So it's going to be great. Our theme is level up. And we did that, strategically, because we felt like after the tumultuous 2022 that we just had, all those dramatic shifts and challenges, we wanted people to focus on actually what they need to do to prepare for when the market turns up, for what they can do now to take market share. And we're seeing that from many of our partners who are able to go out, and they are absolutely pack manning the total addressable market. If you're not thinking in that space to level up, you're going to be left behind. And so what do we have for you? We have keynotes from folks like our founder, Matt Hansen. He's now chief product at Encino. He's got the pulse on both international, global financial institution trends, as well as U.S. local base, U.S. mortgage market trends. Graham, our good friend at Stratmore, is going to be there, as well as Marina Walsh, to come talk about the economic outlook for the market. And then also, of course, Ben Miller. He's always fun. If you need a great time, come out and hang with Ben Miller. He's always got good energy and ideas relative to sales as well. So I'm just super excited about the opportunity to be back in person still. We had a wonderful event last year. Excited to be able to get out there and listen to what our customers are saying.
I am very excited to hear what's going to come from that. There's a lot of people that are not traveling, going to conferences because of budgetary reasons, but this is one of those ones they really need to get to. One thing, Andria, you're passionate about a lot of key issues evolving in the mortgage landscape. Can you give us some issues, then why they're important, or some of the issues that are on your radar screen and why they're important?
Yeah, I would just say buying behaviors, buyer beware. You really need to pay attention that millennials are in the market. We talked about it. But I cannot stress enough that you need to kind of stop and think about maybe your traditional target marketing plays. Think about that use of mobile app and social media, because eyes on screen are actually making purchases not from web shopping, web browsing. The old school, let me Google this and find a best rate. Actually, you'll find that over 60% of millennials are getting their shopping information from social media. So that's a big one for me. The second one was just what we touched on with customer intelligence, because it's going to enable businesses to create dynamic customer profiles that then deliver customer experience that is the differentiator. There's actually 3 acts of what we're in the industrial revolution here, David. So sit tight, guys. Don't fall asleep. Hang with me, right? You've got where we made things. Think of Henry Ford. We innovated and made new products, the light bulb, the car, et cetera. Now we're getting into how do we optimize? And that's been going on for a while. How do I get faster grocery and delivery? And there's so many options. I want a new clothing service. I can choose from 100 different suppliers in the marketplace. But we are now in the age of customer experience. Customer experience is actually where you're going to differentiate yourself. It's a wonderful book. If anybody wants to see it, from some of those that came out of Oracle, the customer success, happy to give anybody a reference if they want to read a good book or load it on Audible. But it's actually called the Customer Experience Economy.
Customer experience. Yeah, I got to read that.
And so we are in a new economic system right now. And I do firmly believe that when you can tailor design cross-channel communications and these marketing strategies beyond maybe what worked before, right? I think of the old going to the grocery store, you're taking your kids in, you're going to go pick up a carton of milk. And where did you see the realtor's face? We saw it on the grocery cart, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Think of these new evolutionary processes and customer experiences, just new funnels of bringing in clients. And once you've captured them, the retention will go up. The conversion rates will go up when we understand those unique buying preferences. A lot of that data, just here to tell you, it's in your point of sale. So partner with a point of sale that has strong APIs who can give you that data at your fingertips.
Boy, there's so much going on in the industry. Again, there are going to be a big dividing line, the chasm between those that have and those that have not when it comes to this area. Oh, Andrea, I just love your energy, intelligence. You bring so much out in such a short amount of time. What have we not covered? There's so much we could talk about. Anything
Anytime you want me back on, David. Happy to chat, and just absolutely love this podcast. Just have to say, been following you for a long time. This is such great content, not me included, but your other guests.
Yeah, well, you're included.
So excited
absolutely.
to be here.
Yeah. No, we're honored to have you, Andrea. I always want to, and yeah, we do want to have you back soon because I'd like to actually have a report what you hear from Snug at the user conference. So if you could come back on, plan on coming back on and giving us an update of what you're kind of hearing. We like to have as much feedback, what's happening from our customers. And then again, let's get some of your customers on here on the podcast to give some testimonials of what's going on. Would love that as well.
Would absolutely love that. We have a wonderful event for our executive advisory board, and we do get some really great insights from those senior leaders. We're talking CEOs and CIOs from various companies that are coming in, and we're going to bring together, mortgage thought leaders in the same room. So excited to bring that back to you.
That's happening at Snug?
At Snug, yep. 13th through the 16th of March. We'll be there, and we'll be ready for that good powder up on Snowbird Mountain.
Oh, I love that. Andrea, so good to have you on. I love what you do, the energy you bring, and really what the whole SimpleNexus team is doing. Very exciting. Hope to see everyone at Snug.
You've been listening to Lykken on Lending, a weekly mortgage market update with your host, David Lykken of Transformational Mortgage Solutions. Join us next week, and thanks for listening.